Hello everyone, I'm Kibin Alleyne and today is Tuesday, June 18th. You are now watching Open, a program that brings the Bronx and New York City straight to you. Don't forget to stay connected with us via social media at BronxNet TV. City Harvest continues its mission to educate New York City on the importance of nutritional education. The organization offers classes tailored for adults, teens, and children. Nutrition Culinary Education Manager for City Harvest, Geraldine Fermin, joins me to discuss this initiative, tips for buying groceries on a budget, and how to read nutrition labels. Geraldine, thank you so much for joining me.
Hi.
Now, can you tell me a little bit more about City Harvest and its overall mission?
City Harvest is New York City's oldest food rescue organization, and our trucks are out there every day rescuing food for New Yorkers. This year, we are supposed to rescue 77 million pounds of food to be distributed at our different markets, food pantries, churches. We distribute a lot around New York City.
Now, we've discussed on our show many times before, just talking about food insecurity. I'd like to explore the effects of food insecurity on our health. Can you tell me a little bit more about that in accordance?
Sure. I think that once people feel a little food insecure, the first thing that they usually cut off is our fruits and vegetables. Unfortunately, the prices for food have risen a lot, and fruits and vegetables sound like they're a little more expensive because you're talking about something that you get by pound versus buying food somewhere else. And you say, well, I'm only going to spend $2 for this, but you're spending $2 on something that is probably 6 ounces versus getting a pound of fresh fruit or a vegetable to include in your diet.
And I also like to add that, I think for a lot of people, this can add a lot of stress and confusion about like, what should I buy? What food item is going to last a little bit longer? Because I know for fruits and vegetables, sometimes in lower income neighborhoods, they're not always fresh, which also deters people from, eating healthy. With that in mind, what should people do to begin, I guess, just planning for a grocery shopping trip, just to ensure that they're saving the most money, but also buying things that they need?
We want to buy things in season. That is the first thing. We want to buy local, we want to buy in season. When things are not in season, we want to turn to frozen. Frozen food is not as bad as people think. If it's not seasoned or if there's not anything added, frozen food is frozen at its peak of ripeness, and it's actually pretty good. And sometimes you might be surprised how mangoes could be better if they're frozen versus something that you buy fresh that could either be too mushy or it could be too green. And I think that frozen and canned food sometimes is viewed as being bad, when in reality, if you get something that has a no sodium added version, you get something that is on sale, things are going to last a little longer. And that it's also something important that we eliminate food waste, because we're using our hard-earned dollars to make these purchases, but then if we are wasting the food, we're wasting our money.
Right. Now, what can people do, or what are some tips people can use to help them budget?
I think that the first thing that you need to do before you go anywhere for food shopping is look at what you have and plan meals around it. And I don't recommend meal planning like people do for the entire week. I mean, plan recipes. Okay, with this, I'm going to make a frittata. With this, I'm going to make a pasta bake. With this, I'm going to make a stir-fry rice or something of that nature, instead of thinking I'm going to cook for the entire week, because the chances are that by Friday you're not going to want to eat what you cook on Sunday, and then that it's going to end up going to waste. Or you could freeze it for a later time, and then you have a ready for whenever you're in a rush, and you just have to put that in the microwave or heat it up. And that is a way to also avoid buying food out, because you already have something that is prepared that you could heat up within a couple of minutes.
Now, when it comes to being health conscious, what should people keep in mind when navigating the supermarket?
I think that a couple of things that you could keep in mind is that the products that are not the most healthy for you are at eye level. Look up or look down. Sometimes the store brands that are equally good as other brands we know a little bit better could be on sale, and they're usually in the bottom or the top. If you look at the cereal aisle, for example, all the nice sugary, unhealthy, cute box cereals are at eye level of children. And some of them are on eye level. And the ones that are on eye level are the nostalgia ones, the ones that we used to have when we were children. But if you look up, you'll find the healthier granola, the healthier cereal. And then you could also look for the store brands that could save you a little bit of money.
Now, I'm curious to know, I also heard online that in a supermarket, like the outside is where all the healthier food or natural food is, and the middle is where you may have like more processed food. As you mentioned, the cereal boxes. Is that something that you've noticed? Just as somebody who works in this field, and does a lot of grocery shopping, and aims to, be a little bit more conscious when they're shopping. Have you noticed that supermarkets will also do that, where they'll have the healthier food on the outside, and then the unhealthy food in the middle?
I have noticed it at certain supermarkets, but other supermarkets want to put outside whatever they want to get rid of first due to expiration dates, and that is another topic. Sometimes people think, oh, this is going to be bad tomorrow after the expiration date, and not necessarily. The food starts decreasing in quality, but it's perfectly edible for a while afterwards. So sometimes these things go on sale and it might expire in 2 weeks, but it will be good for a couple of months after the expiration date.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that. Now, when we're talking about just becoming healthier, a lot of people may have issues with obesity or being overweight. That's definitely something that we experience a lot here in the Bronx. But people will turn to calorie counting, or look at things like portion control. How important is calorie counting over portion control, and which one should those who are looking to be a little bit more healthier prioritize?
I think with both, people have to look at their body build, their height. It is impossible that someone that is 6'5" will have to have the same calories as someone that is 5'2". You need more. You're bigger because you're taller. And I think you have to decrease the calories and the portions gradually, because you can't go from eating 10 ounces to 2 in one day. You're going to be hungry. You're going to be grouchy, you're going to get a headache. And I also think that what might work for one person doesn't work for the other. Some people come and tell me, oh no, well, I'm having cauliflower, but I hate cauliflower. I don't like cauliflower. Well, then eat broccoli, then eat another vegetable. There's a variety of fruits and vegetables. You have to look for what you like in order for it to enjoy it, because food should be enjoyable as well. So that, I think, it's one of the most important parts for me. And also cultural relevance. You want to make your own meals healthier, because you can't turn to adopt another culture or something that it's written on a paper that you don't want to eat. Because if you're not craving that, the first thing you're going to do, it's not eat it, waste it. Even if you cook it and you do your best, you might not want it because it doesn't look familiar to you.
Now, understanding nutrition labels is also very important to staying healthy. I know that in my personal life, this is something that I want to learn more about, because there's so many numbers and so many things that we don't understand. And most people just look at the calorie number. But what are some other things people should look at when they're reading nutrition labels?
The first thing is actually the portion size.
Okay.
Because if we are going to consume a beverage, sometimes that beverage is 2.5 servings. And that is what makes it different. And also, if you see a package, and I mean, sometimes you see something with chips or a cookie, and it says 20 chips. And you're thinking, well, once I start eating, I'm going to eat the entire bag. So you have to account for the fact that you're eating the entire bag. And also, we want to look at our saturated fat, which is the fat that it's going to affect our cholesterol. We want to look at the sodium. We want to look at the sugar. I mean, we will be surprised of how much sugar is in beverages, just in beverages. And when people tell me, oh, I want to cut back on soda, and I tell them, okay, use sparkling water. If you use regular water, you're going to lose that fizz that we like. But if you use sparkling water, you can maintain that while consuming less.
Now, all of this is so very educational, and I appreciate the fact that we get to talk about this. But I understand that the organization also offers educational classes for New Yorkers of all ages. Can you just tell me a little bit more about these classes and how you tailor it to your audience?
Yes, we have classes in schools, we have classes at senior centers, we have classes at community-based organizations, and we tailor them and we have curriculums for all of those ages to make it fun, to make it enjoyable, to make the recipes adapt to the age. So we have the students participate not only in the lecture of the class, but on the hands-on experience of cooking. Children are proud when they make the food, and they will try it just because they're proud. Sometimes they don't want to try things because it's something that it's not familiar to them, but if they make it, they will be really proud. And then we have our seniors who have been cooking their entire life, and they discover something new. And I've seen it when I teach the classes and they come back and they said, you know, last week I made what you told me. And what you taught me in class, but I added this or I removed this. And that's also another thing. We want to tell people that recipes are a guideline. They're not set in stone. So when they're going to the supermarket to purchase food, they want to see what they have at home first to then go by based on what they want to make this recipe look like and taste like.
Now, how can people get more involved? And if parents have children that they want to learn a little bit more about this, how can they get their children involved?
So we have our website, cityharvest.org/cook, where there is involvement. There is involvement through volunteering. Sometimes if the class is not available in your neighborhood, you could volunteer and you could also learn on a hands-on experience in the class. It depends on the schools, where the schools are located, but community-based organizations and senior centers that have classes. I mean, I think it's all listed on our website for people to get involved in so many different ways.
Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us and having this discussion. I know that here in the Bronx, just being a little bit healthier, food insecurity, all of those are things that we struggle with here. And I think it's so amazing that we have programs like this that are, just built to help educate the community on ways that they can be healthier. So thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. And people can find us at our mobile markets. And here in the Bronx, Melrose Houses and St. Mary's. They can visit us for a cooking demo and for food distribution.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. To learn more about their efforts and to see all the programs they offer, please go to their website at cityharvest.org. Don't go away. We'll be back with more Open after this.